Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Welcome in on a Tuesday morning. Our first Monday night football game of the year was a bust. The 49ers take over in the second quarter, open up a lead, pull away, and dominate the Jets. 32-19, and it wasn't that close. Jets got a late touchdown when they'd already pulled Rodgers from the game. Tyrod Taylor took him down. They got a score to make it a little closer. The Niners punted on the first possession, then scored on every single possession until the end of the game when they ran out the clock. Dominant performance. And they did it without Christian McCaffrey. Some kind of calf injury. He's standing on the sideline in street clothes, and they ran the ball. Wow. Jordan Mason, 28 carries, 147 yards. They had over 400 yards of total offense. They spread the ball around. Juwan Jennings, Deebo Samuel, Kittle, Ayuk. Everybody's making plays. But basically, it's the fact that they just ran the ball at the Jets, and the Jets couldn't stop it. That was the whole game right there. The Jets tried to run the ball, and the Niners stopped it. And, yeah, I know where you're going, BYU fans. Zach Wilson is gone, and Aaron Rodgers is there, and it just wasn't that different. Rodgers did throw a pick. It was a deflected, kind of an odd play, deflected and popped up over on the far sideline. It was unusual. Nice play by the Niners on the tip drill there. And even that was just kind of a I don't know what it was. It was kind of a fluke, bizarro play. It didn't really matter because the Niners just won snap after snap after snap. They're the better team. I still think the Jets could be a playoff team if things break their way. I don't see how they're a Super Bowl contender. The Niners clearly are a Super Bowl contender, and that's why we had a 32-19 game that was really a 32-13 game. All right, from pro football, which we'll have time for later, to college football. You know, it is on Tuesday mornings. All the coaches talk on Monday. We're going to start with the Aggies. We'll get to the Utes and Cougars. Nate Dreiling, the Aggies interim head coach, joining PK and I. Here's our conversation in the wake of their blowout loss, getting shut out by the Trojans at the LA Coliseum. How hard is it to be up right now and be enthusiastic when the team is down after a tough game? Or did they shake it off pretty quickly and you're not feeling that on the flight back?
The first 24 hours hurts, right, as it always does in a loss. But a lot of good stuff on film we can learn from, and effort was phenomenal the whole night, and the kids were resilient. Didn't show up on the scoreboard, so it's just continue to get better and better as the season goes.
What specific positives do you think you can take from that game?
We need to understand that's one of the best teams in the country, right? And that's not an excuse, but your mistakes are going to be amplified. And we need to be way better as our details in our blocking and our block destruction on defense, assignments. You can't beat teams like that, teams like Utah, unless you're doing things the right way consistently. And there was flashes of moments, right, which I love, but the biggest thing is consistently doing our job to a high level of detail.
Everything starts with the offensive line, and USC's defense looks a lot better. How much of that was USC's defense being better, and how much do you have to improve up front? What do you think?
The one area I was extremely impressed with was with our offensive line. We had two tailbacks average over 5 yards a carry. Probably could have ran the ball a little bit more. I thought the push they had up front was good the majority of the night. It's just being able to consistently do it, though, right? And that goes back to that consistency word, which I've said 9 million times. But the tailbacks ran hard. You know, we didn't put a lot in Bryson's hand. We got the ball out quick. So it kind of limited how he could play, but pretty proud of those guys now. Obviously, it's going to be a huger task this week. Utah's D-line's probably even better.
Yeah, when you think about it, you can make that case for sure. Quarterback situation's interesting. Obviously, you go with Barnes because of according to what you said last week. He'd be the backup. The injury situation presented itself. I don't know what the plan is this week, but just for the sake of argument, assuming it's Barnes, obviously Utah knows him inside and out. Would that cause you to do anything different if he plays?
Well, I think just the complete opposite. And, you know, who knows Utah's defense better than Bryson, who's been there for 3 years. So I think I look at way more as advantage than disadvantage. So he'll have some interesting perspectives on what he's going to see. And whether it's him or Spencer, I think he'll be able to help a lot with the game plan on things we can exploit.
With the ball coming out quickly, that limits what Jalen Royals could do, but you still liked what he did?
Yeah, got him a lot of touches early. Should have came back to him. I think he finished with 7 catches on like 12 targets. Was close on a couple that got tipped past that he had a chance to break. We just got to continue to find ways to get him the ball more. They double coverage him or they play cover 2 over top of him. That's just something that we need to know. But when he had the ball in his hand, right, he's freaky. We just got to make sure we get that done more often.
Now, that's 2 weeks in a row you said that because you said that to us last week. Do you have a number in mind that you would like to have him have the ball, or at least have opportunities to have the ball?
Yeah, as many as humanly possible, right? He's going to be one of the best offensive players to ever come out of Utah State, and we know teams know that, right? So they are making it difficult to find ways to get it to him. So we'll keep coming up with creative ways to make sure that he has a chance to break free at any moment.
Creative, that just stole my next question right there. More carries for him, as many quick screens, anything, right? Anything to put the ball in his hands?
Yeah, and you saw it early on in the SC game. He had, I think 3 of the first 4 touches of the game. We seem to probably consistently do that, but the other team knows that as well. So they do it. They did a good job of doubling him to make sure that we couldn't give him balls easily.
Now, if Utah follows what they've done, they'll play cat and mouse game with their quarterback right up until maybe game time. But obviously, they'll know internally. I'm thinking that for you guys, you'll go in the mindset that Rising will play and then adjust if he doesn't. Is that it, or is it something else?
Well, I was hoping you guys would have some good inside information for me. It sounds like you're letting me down this morning. No, it's. They have so many playmakers, too. Obviously, with Rising back there, the whole team looked different, and I think they just feed off that guy, and why should they? He's one of the best players in all of college football. But either way, we know what first thing we have to do is stop the run versus these guys, and obviously he just throws such a deep ball, which is why it's so challenging for opponents to prepare for them. So either way, it's going to be us stopping the run, and no matter what, who's throwing the ball, we just got to win our one-on-ones on the outside.
I don't like to talk point spreads because it puts coaches in a bad spot in multiple ways. But I only bring it up now to say that Vegas tends to know, and judging by the point spread, they think Rising's playing. So I'm pretty sure you're prepping for Rising. Whatever they do, it's going to be him.
Yeah, well, we will see. Either way, we're going to have 11 guys in the box holding up versus run, making them throw it.
What you will have is, I would think, a packed house, because these in-state games, this will be your first opportunity, but it usually generates a little more buzz no matter who it is. Pick any of the 3 teams playing each other in whichever formation you want. We've seen that it creates a little more buzz, a little more excitement. How do you think that can inspire your players, because Utah's coming to your place, so I would think the majority of the fans would be for the Aggies?
Yeah, anytime you can get a Power 4 team to visit you on your side is an awesome opportunity, let alone an in-state team that's an hour and a half away. So supposedly they're going to be camping out on a late Thursday night already to get their seats, and I'm sure there's going to be some red in this stadium, but it's going to be packed. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere for both squads.
Everybody wants to put pressure on the quarterback. Lots of good things happen defensively when you're able to do that. What did you think of your ability to do that against SC, and how do you think that translates against the Utes, regardless of who the quarterback is?
Yeah, well, the big thing is we just couldn't get SC slowed down enough to stop the run, to pressure the quarterback. Right? It's hard to just pressure if you're not playing good enough versus the run. So that needs to be the emphasis. It's got to be able to stop the run and get them into knowing pass situations, and that way you can tee off. If you don't, it's just too hard. There's too many third and shorts, and that'll be the same thing this weekend. So we got to do a better job winning first and second down to get into pass rush situations.
Here's Nate Dreiling out of the frying pan into the fire. Drag out that old cliche, because they are 1-1 and they're coming home to face the Utes. I assume they will prepare for Cam Rising. Now, possibly, they will get Isaac Wilson. That's probably what they're hoping for, but they're going to prepare for Cam Rising. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we still got to hear from the Utes and the Cougars. Kyle Whittingham coming up, and so is Kalani Sitake, the Cougars head coach. They are both on the way. DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Good morning. DJ and PK, proudly presented by our title sponsor, Black Desert Resort, Utah's premier golf resort. All right, Right now, it's time to hear from Utah football coach Kyle Whittingham, meeting with the media. A lot of talk about Cam Rising. Of course, he won't say who's going to start, but a lot of talk about what the offense looked like with him and without him. Here's Kyle.
All right. First off, anybody get involved in the press conference wagering this week? No.
We want to know about this.
The rumor on the street is it's being the driving force is a big goofy guy that we all pretty much know real well. So anyway, you probably can figure out who that is. But okay, Saturday's game did some good things. We started off fast, which is ideally how you'd like to start every week. Jumped out to a 17-0 lead in the first quarter. Built it to 23-0 just towards the end of the half. Gave up the field goal at the end of the first half. That was disappointing. We had they took over with 20 or 30 seconds left and maneuvered down for a field goal. So that was probably the low light of the first half. But defense overall, start to finish, was outstanding. Gave them the game ball, the defense in its entirety for controlling the game from start to finish. Offensively, like I said, we were doing some really good things, and then Cam went out, and everything kind of deflated, which was disappointing. Exact opposite should happen. If you lose a key player, then everyone else needs to pick up their game and pick up the slack. It's not just on Isaac Wilson to come in and pick it up. It's everyone around him. And so that's something that was probably the most disappointing thing in the game, is just the way we let the wind completely come out of our sails and not continue to move the football. Second half, not a lot of offensive production. Defense gave up a few things in the second half, but overall, like I said, their overall output, 225 yards and 12 first downs. I mean, we do that all year long. We're going to be in great shape. Did leave some points out there. Missed a couple makeable field goals, an extra point. So if we put those on the board like we typically do, that would be a 30-point output, which Baylor's a good defensive team. I'm telling you right now, they got some guys on defense, some athletes. They're long, they're fast, and well coached. Coach Miranda does a great job with defense historically, always has. And so, bottom line, we got the win. As far as update, reminder, we don't give any injury updates unless they're season-ending, and so we won't say who's going to play quarterback even when we know. That's just not how we do it. So we'll see what happens. But other than Cam going out, we seem to stay fairly healthy in that game, and looking forward to going up to Logan. It's been a while since we've been up there. I couldn't tell you exactly when, but 10, 12 years, 14 years, I don't know. It's been a while, but we're on the road. That's our next challenge, is for this team to play well on the road. And if you want to try to get to championship level football, you got to win on the road. And so it starts this week with that opportunity. So questions, we'll start with our man over there, Justin.
Okay, so what unique challenges are you facing this year that may be different than the years past?
Other than the new conference, probably none. I mean, we've been the staff's been together for quite a while. We've got a veteran team. So I would say just the fact that we're going to be going to some new venues, playing new teams coming into Rice-Eccles that we are not familiar with. We'll be, obviously doing our scouting reports and become as familiar as we can with those guys, but having not seen them in person. And so that would be the biggest challenge this year.
Kyle, you saw some progression in the run game from week 1 to week 2. What are you looking for in terms of progression into week 3?
Yeah, like I said last week, 5 yards a carry is my own benchmark that I know we're running the ball effectively. If we're above 5 yards a carry, we were, again, just shy of that. I think it was 4.7 this past week. And when our run game is really clicking, we're up there at 230, 40, 50 yards, and we haven't been able to achieve that yet this year. And so I think we did fit the run game up better with the block schemes on Saturday. Obviously the the degree of difficulty was higher. It was a pretty stout front seven, but I still think there's more for us in the run game. Very proud of Mekhi Bernard for what he did. He was 19 carries for over 100 yards and 6.2, I believe, was his yards per carry. So he had a really productive day for us, and as I mentioned after the game, is as close to being RB1 as we have right now, and maybe he'll take that over. We'll see how things progress.
On their quarterback health, there's a good chance you're going to be going up against Bryson Barnes.
Yep.
I can't remember the last time you faced a starter from last year, and you're going to face him the very next year. What did he mean for this program? And just talk about maybe how you think he's progressed since from last year to this year.
Yeah, I watched the SC game today, and SC's really good on defense this year. Market improvement. But I thought Bryson was poised, made good decisions for the most part, took care of the football. He was a great member of our program, great teammate. Called upon him several times to play for us, and he responded. Beat SC last year. He was our quarterback, of course, when we beat SC. Just a competitive, tough, high character individual. And it's good to see him playing and having the opportunity to play at Utah State. And I can't say enough good things about him. And we're not sure who we're going to see this week. Is it going to be him or the other guy? We don't know. But proud of him and happy for his success.
Coach, there were 122 passing yards. Where's the concern level with the passing production?
Well, when Cam's in there, no concern at all. I think that if we didn't snap the ball a whole lot of times in the first half, and we his numbers weren't bad for two-thirds or a third of the game, maybe closer to half a game. But had Cam been able to stay in and we would have kept throwing the ball, I think the numbers would have been about right. When Isaac came in this, particularly in the second half, we were really trying to just get out of there with the win and not. We're just doing our best to protect the football. And so, but I thought, Isaac, just speaking of him, I thought he's played better last week than he did the previous week, the last game, and had more command, had more confidence, looked like he played with more confidence, and I think that he came in and held down the fort for us.
Now that you've got a chance to watch the film, what do you think of the play where Cam got injured and the hit?
Yeah, if I was the official on that call, I would have called it. If I was the official, that it looked like certainly the hit started out legal, inbounds, and as it progressed, looked like there was some arm extension and maybe a little extra shove. But I'm not going to complain or whine about it. But if I was officiating on the spot right there, I would have thrown the flag. So.
Do you think when you retire you'll be an official?
I think there's 0% chance of that. Yes, sir. Yeah, I will not. I respect those guys, and they got a tough job, but that's not for me.
By your own acknowledgement, then, there's no concern when Cam is in there in the pro game, which means then you have concern when he's not in there, by your own acknowledgement, indirectly. With that in mind, can you do anything in practice, because possibility of injury exists every game, obviously, to make sure the backup and the backups are more prepared in case it does happen?
Yeah, that's something that is you look at, but when you split the reps in practice between the ones and the twos, it's not 50-50. It's like 80-20 or 70-30. You get the one guy, the first guy, tuned up completely and get as many reps for the second guy as you can. I think one thing that would definitely help Isaac is if he got those 80% or 70% of the reps all week long. I know he would be more advanced. Also, just more experience. He's been in a total of one game of college football now, half last week, half this past week, and so I think he's going to continue to get better. We certainly believe that, and we have a lot of confidence in him. It's just he's not ready to go out and throw the ball 45 times, and against especially a team like Baylor, and just not in his development. He's not quite there yet.
both the play he got hurt on and the previous 25-yard run he had, do you think Cam's doing everything he can to protect himself from injury? Is there anything you'd say to him?
Not everything, but that's who he is. He's so competitive. He's a fierce competitor, as I've said over and over. When he's out there, it just his competitive instinct is just it's just there, and it's hard to shut that off. And man, get water. Sorry about that. And what was there? Fires are out there or something last week or something in the air. But answer your question, we'd like to see him be even more cautious and even more cognizant of staying out of harm's way. But again, it's hard when you got a guy that is that. And I keep going back to the same word, competitive. It's not an easy task.
Knowing you may face either one of those backs of Utah State, how do you have to prepare differently for each of those guys?
Yeah, they're different type of players. Bryson is certainly an athletic kid that's more adept at running the football. If he's the quarterback, we expect to see more QB run than we will if it's the other guy. But that's not uncommon. There's several weeks during the season where you got two guys to prepare for, and you better have your bases covered on each one. So that's not something that is that rare.
Kyle, if Cam isn't able to go, how much of the game plan is going to change if Isaac is under center?
Not a ton. And again, if we feel that he's not ready to go and Isaac is getting the lion's share of the reps in practice, then he'd have just about the entire game plan at his disposal. And so that's to be determined, but that's how it would be determined if he ends up being the guy.
You mentioned when the run game is going, you're getting 225, 235.
Yep.
When the pass game is going, the pass game.
Same. If we can be balanced, 225, 250, hit 300 some weeks. If you throw for 300 a game, you're going to throw for 3,600 yards in the regular season. We haven't hit that mark. We've been over 3,000 a couple times, and Tyler Huntley, I believe, threw for 3,000. Cam did it a couple years back. So if if 3,000 rushing or throwing and about 2,000 running, 2,500, probably 2,500. That would be about ideal for us.
It's been 12 years since you guys have been up there.
12 years, okay.
Memory from the last
2012, yeah.
2012.
We get beat up there that game. Yep, I remember that.
From that game.
That we got beat and that we didn't play well at all, and they played extremely well. And Gary had those guys ready, and they the quarterback, was that Chucky's junior year? I think it was anyway. That was they were ready to play, and they came out and they executed, and we were not as good as we needed to be, and ended up again getting beat.
And there's 2 more games signed up in the series. What does the Battle of the Brothers mean to you? I mean, you've been around it for a while.
Yeah, well, it's an in-state rivalry, and it's good for the state of Utah, I believe. It doesn't have as high a profile as the rivalry game with the guys down south, but it is certainly a game that captures the attention of the state and is exciting for the state of Utah.
Like last year, you guys ran a dual quarterback system at points.
I'm going to get lambasted for saying guys down south, by the way. I've been lambasted before. My wife every day. Yeah.
Last year when Cam was injured, you guys ran a dual quarterback system with Bryson and Nate.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that could potentially happen if Cam isn't able to go this year.
I would say very unlikely. You never want to say never, but I don't think that based on our personnel and our what our hierarchy is of quarterbacks right now, I don't see that happening.
Two games into the season, how much from a scouting standpoint is it enough to have 2 games to be able to get a feel for what the teams are as far as the opponents go?
It's way better than 0. It's quite a bit better than 1, but I think 3+ is what you look for. As soon as you start getting 3+, which obviously is next week, then you get a real good feel for a team's MO and what they're about and what to expect and yeah, so probably 3 full games and then everything else. And that's typically what you do as the season goes on, you try to pick the 3 games that are most similar schematically to how you are, and then you have another game or two that you add to that. Another game or two that rounds out the scout report. But and the coaches look at every game, but that's what you give the players is what we expect to see.
There's Utah football coach Kyle Whittingham. A reminder, join Hans and Scotty Thursday at Macy's in Providence from noon to 3. Find the hidden fan box and enter for a chance to win tickets to this Saturday's game. Macy's, 50 North Highway 165 in Providence. When we come back, BYU coach Kalani Sitake next. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. A reminder, you can find the largest and greatest selection of RVs in the state at the 2024 Utah RV Super Show, September 12th through the 15th at the Mountain America Expo Center. See the newest models as well as the best remaining inventory from this year. Visit the website and enter to win a family 4-pack of tickets. All right, time now to hear from the BYU head coach, Kalani Sitake. His Cougars are 2-0. Was it pretty at SMU? No. But did they find a way to win? And did they inch closer to the 6 or 7 wins they need to have a successful season? Yes, they did. Here is Kalani.
Excited. We're 2-0. And after watching the film, really proud of the team. There's a lot of, like I said after the game, still a lot of room for improvement. Look forward to getting to it today. I think had some guys get banged up in the game. That happens. So we'll have to deal with some of the adjustments. We still have to get some other guys evaluated. But as of now, looks like it's doubtful for LJ Martin and Hinckley Rapati. So we have to still evaluate it some more, but that's the way it's looking. The good news is no one's out for the year, which is good, but might take some time to get some of those guys back, and hopefully we can see what happens in the next 24 hours if it's going to be available for this week or not. But proud of the team. Glad we got the win, but still a lot of room for improvement. A lot of things that we can fix, and looking forward to getting that done. Going on the road again. Looking forward to this matchup with Wyoming. I think looking at the program, I mean, I think they're number 3 on the list of the teams that we've played the most. Utah being number 1, Utah State being number 2, and then Wyoming being number 3. So as a former player and fan, I was used to seeing Wyoming on the schedule, on BYU schedule. So it's kind of a little bit flashback to our times when I was a player and a fan to go out there and play that game in Laramie. I know that they have a passionate fan base. It's actually why college football is so good, is that the fans make it real, and I know they love their team and they have a lot of pride in their team, and I know they're looking forward to this game just like we are. Really well coached team. Look at Coach Jay Savell. He's a defensive minded coach. Was able to replace Craig Bull, who's an amazing coach, and you look at Jay's. You look at his the people that he's been mentored by are amazing head coaches. So he's been able to work with some great ones, Lou Holtz, Jerry Kill, and Craig Bull, just to name a few. And then I have all kinds of respect for Craig Bull and what he does as a coach. I consider him a really good friend, and I know that he's put a lot of work in that program, and he's done actually. I don't know of a lot of people that go from retiring from coaching football to go into something even more bigger of a task, which is running the AFCA as the executive director. But Craig has done an amazing job at that, especially in this time that we're dealing with all the transfer portal, NIL, all these different moves and different changes to our game. We can look to Craig Bull and his leadership to help us as coaches with the AFCA. So he's done an amazing job there and represents us the right way, and he's done a great job in this program. I think Coach Savell and his staff have done a great job keeping the tradition and keeping the culture of what they've had already been in place since I got the head job here. So I can see a lot of the same stuff. So they're the same team, tough kids, well coached, and always looking forward to playing that game of football that we all love. So looking forward to the matchup. It's going to be a fun game, and just really excited about our guys getting another chance to improve from last week to this next one, and just really excited about the game. And in fact, Craig Bull's son is the defensive coordinator that's done a great job with them. So there's a lot of really cool things that I can see in this program that I remember even back to 2016 when we played them in the bowl game. So looking forward to the matchup and excited for your questions that are coming up.
Thanks, Coach. Just a reminder to our media members to use your raise hand function, and we should have time for a question and a follow-up. We'll start with Mitch and then Jared.
Ronnie, just following up on LJ and Falau, are you optimistic that they're going to be back for Big 12 play, or could this be something that mid-season? Like, what's the timeline you're thinking here with these injuries?
I think the timeline will be probably more decided today. So tomorrow, when you guys have media, you'll probably get a little bit more of an idea. I mean, we're still using today to kind of get a good feel for where they're at. It's going to be doubtful for this game this weekend, but we're hoping, and you just never know. People heal differently, and today's going to be a really important day for us to see where we're going to be at.
And then
that's with both of those guys, yeah.
Understood. And also at the running back position, Pokai, not listed on the depth chart. He was on the travel roster last week. Is he factored into that mix? And then also status of Maury Bamba this week too.
Yeah, I think with Pokai, we had, the question is whether or not to redshirt people, and I think right now I'm not worried about that. He's gonna be full go. And he's going to play, and we'll just move on with that. And you get 4 games for a reason, so we might as well make sure to use this one for sure for him. Same thing goes for Sione Moa. We feel good about the group. Enoch Nawahina did a great job coming in. So did Miles Davis. So Miles brings a lot of experience. Enoch has played a lot of games for us on special teams, and so those guys will do a great job for us with the running back group. And I feel like we talked about the depth. It's going to be testing the running back room. Hopefully we get better news with the recovery from both the backs, but we'll have to kind of just wait and see what today says. But if I were telling you guys honestly, it's like it looks doubtful. So we'll just have to move on and just plan according to whatever's there. But the fortunate part is that we have guys that are experienced, especially Miles Davis. And then Maury Bamba, we're looking forward to getting him back, hopefully. I think this might be the week that we might be able to see him.
Kalani, you don't get a lot of Saturdays off during the season. There's the bye weeks and obviously these Friday night games when you have an early week. What's a Saturday like for you when you don't have a game?
Well, it's just still work. You're just waiting for Wyoming to play their game and watching it in real time, and then you're evaluating what you can do with the program. You're letting your guys heal up still, so it's still work. Our coaches still went to work, but I think it's just you don't have to worry about a game. So that we've been in this position before. We took advantage of that, and the fortunate part is that we get some guys that might need that extra day of recovery. So we're hoping that'll get us closer to the game next week. But there's some guys that are banged up. That's just football. No, I don't think a lot of people are going to be 100%. The thing I can say about the game is that we're right in the middle of it. So did I feel like we're going to need that we're going to might be out our top 2 running backs? No, but I also know that we got depth there for a reason. So now we'll see if it's going to happen.
There were a lot of games that ended up being really close, some of them unexpected. They're expected to be blowouts. You're going up against a team that struggled in its first couple of weeks, but that's got to be kind of an easy way to point to the guys and be like, hey, it doesn't matter in college football these days. Anybody can play like that.
That's interesting that you say that, because you guys are giving me a hard time about the depth chart with the role quarterbacks in week 1 when we were trying to give Southern Illinois all our respect in the preparing for them as as an opponent, and now you see how those games are going. And so I'm glad that you mentioned that, because now you see where we're at. We're trying to do things the right way, which is respect our opponents. And every week's a different week. You never know what's going to happen. That's the game of football. But I know that not to make too much of it, but we're going to go there, and this has been an old-time rival of ours. So I know there's a lot of fans there that want to see Wyoming coming on top, and we want to go out there and perform better. We still haven't played our best football yet, and we haven't done it for long enough where I can feel comfortable in saying, yeah, this is where we're at. I still don't think our identity has shown up in all three phases, and this is a great week for it to show up. But there's tons of respect, and we see the film. We know the situation that they're stuck in right now, and that they're going through some adversity. But that's when you're going to get their best. I've said it every week that we anticipate getting their best. We just need to make sure that our best shows up. And the same thing happened last week. We were the underdogs last week. You guys forget we're double-digit underdogs, and so we went into that game with the same type of mindset that we went to Southern Illinois. And so we're going to have to keep that same type of mindset going into this game. That's going to be every week, regardless of what team's favored.
Thanks, Jared. We'll have some more questions from Sean Walker and then Jake Hatch.
Hey, Coach, since we're talking about the running backs and whatnot, and we talked a little bit after the game about Enoch and kind of the spark that he brought to you guys, how he ran the ball. But after you sort of went back and looked at the tape and whatnot, well, what did you like about sort of what he was doing when he came into the game? And obviously he gets that touchdown run. What was making him so effective?
Yeah, I think the key would have been when you looked at what LJ and Hinckley were doing, they're just playing hurt. And I think they should have just came out. And when you're banged up, even if you're just a little bit hobbled and you just need to recover, just come out of the game, because we could have got better looks at different plays with Enoch and with Miles in. So that's just kind of first thing that comes to my mind, is that our guys, I know they want to play the game and they're excited about it, but these injuries that happen, that you can't expect that you at a little banged up is going to be better than your backup. That's why we spent so much time developing our depth and getting our guys right. But Enoch did a great job with his vision and with being able to run the ball. And for a guy that didn't have a lot of reps in practice to be able to function at a high level, he made some really big-time plays for us, and so did Miles. And so we know we can count on those guys. The other young guys, the freshmen that you haven't seen really much, have tons of ability with Sionemo and Pokai Haunga, but we'll just have to, if their time comes and if they're called on, I know they'll be ready. Harvey does a great job coaching them. A-Rod, the entire offensive staff will have them ready.
And then a little bit related to kind of you sound really comfortable with the running back room, and obviously the depth chart speaks to your comfort, and even the guys not on the depth chart like you mentioned. Does that speak a little bit to how to sort of what this offensive line is doing, I guess, right now, with how settled and how experienced those guys are, where you can kind of plug and play a little bit at the tailback spot?
Yeah, I mean that they go hand in hand. I think TJ's got. Woods has had a definite influence on the run game. We just like to see it be a lot more explosive than what we've had, and a lot of the factors go into that. But we're working on those. I know that it's not a lack of talent. That's not a problem. We have tons of talent and ability. This is going to be an opportunity for some of these young guys to get to be out there and make plays. And I mean, I'm still not counting on Hinckley and LJ out, but it's just like we have to be real with you guys and be honest about where we're seeing it. The fortunate thing is not for the season, but I mean, like I said, doubtful. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And when you say things like that, you kind of have to have this mindset of moving on. And if they happen to be able to come back and play this week, then that's just an added bonus. But that's kind of the mindset that we have to have. And it sucks, but we still love those guys. But they want us to be at our best, which means we got to get our guys ready. But the O-line has done a great job. TJ's done a great job getting them ready. I just like to take advantage of them doing a great job, because there's so many big plays that could be made, and it's just one or two mistakes that are along the way that cost us, and maybe it cost us a turnover and things like that. But we're missing out on some explosive plays and some opportunities to get more points on the board.
Well, you talked about the environment up there at Wyoming. Do you have any unique memories of having played in front of that crowd up there at War Memorial?
Yeah, they love their fans, man. that's what college football is all about. SMU had fans that love their team too. I have a lot of respect for them because I know that they're really proud of their team and they support their team. They had a lot of success last year. I believe they won their bowl game last year. So and you could see the personality and the culture that Craig Bowl has provided for that program. And I think Jay and the rest of the staff are doing a great job at carrying it on. They just lost a couple games and they're running into some adversity. But I know these coaches. I know what they're about. I know their reputation, and they're going to get their guys ready for this game. That's what's awesome about college football. It's another week. It's a new opportunity, and you just got to. The best way to forget about the one last week is to move on to the next one. So we had some really good things that happened last week. We just got to move on and look forward to this next one, which is what I'm trying to get the entire team focused on.
You've preached ball security a lot during your time at BYU. Are the 3 turnovers that Jake had on Saturday night the type that you're concerned about going forward, or are they considered to be a one-off in a way?
No, there's no one-offs. Take care of the stinking football. That's what it comes down to. So that's I've said it over and over and over again. I don't want guys to have to play tight and feel like they can't take a chance, but that the football belongs to everybody. It belongs to the fans. It belongs to the team. It belongs to the program. It's not just that one player's. It's not his ball. It belongs to all of us, and so they need to start thinking about it more like that. And even this opportunity, like I know that stuff might happen. A guy might fall down and stand up and catch the ball, and we'll respond. The other side of that is want the defense to get some turnovers, get some big plays, and get some opportunity. Like there's different ways to talk about ball security. Create more havoc and get more turnovers on defense, and do the same thing on offense. Flip the field on special teams. Find ways to get advanced. We get more points on the board, and offense take care of that football. But do it within the realms of your responsibility. I mean, we can deal with the sack. That's okay. That can happen. That happens sometimes. We've been able to respond after that. It's just sometimes a game happens where turnovers they occur and you can overcome it, but you can't just keep thinking that it's going to be taking care of itself magically. So that's always been our emphasis, and we're going to still keep doing that, but it needs to improve. We know that.
All right, we have time for 2 more questions. We'll go Jay Drew and then Kevin Reynolds.
Yeah, Kalani, given the history between BYU and Wyoming and how much this game means to Wyoming, are you relaying any of that to your players? Are you talking to them about that, or is this just another opponent, so to speak?
Well, I mean, it's what we know, but these kids don't know anything about the rivalry and I mean, I guess some of these guys have played in this game against Wyoming, but they don't understand the old conference and all that stuff. A majority of these guys came here because they want to play in the Big 12, and this is just another opportunity for us to go play this game. We know that it's going to be a hostile environment. It wasn't a kind one last week either, but that's college football. We are excited to get out and go play this game in Wyoming and to go play at Laramie. I'm excited to see our fans there. I'm excited to see their fans. We look forward to the game. Now, there's nothing that I need to add to it. It's just a game of football. But if you ask me personally, I know because I played in that game. But these kids. They just need to go and it's business. Go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Fix the concerns that we have and any mistakes that we made in the past. Let's find ways to get better, and then away we go. But I want to respect our opponents, but at the same time, I want our guys to improve, and I want them to realize that they have a responsibility to play better every week, and we need to make that improvement. We didn't make a good enough improvement, in my opinion, from week 1 to week 2. Now we need to make up for it from week 2 to week 3, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Hey, Kalani, we saw Reiner get in and catch a pass early in that game. What's your plan for him this year? Do you want to ease him into a role, and are you planning to redshirt him this season too?
Oh, he's a major weapon. I think when everybody's talking about redshirting, this is the only year that matters this year. So we need all our guys to play, and we've got to use them all. And that's what Reiner wanted to do. He wanted to come play a year before he goes on this mission. So we plan on using a majority of our guys, and if it happens that we have to make a decision at their fourth game, then we will talk about that then. But right now we're in game 3, so there's no risk of anybody losing their red shirt right now. Next week maybe we'll have to have some conversations, but everything goes into week to week, and everything's about this year.
There's Kalani Sitake, BYU football coach. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next.